All right, in this video, I'm going to go over the review for the unit test. The three different ways we learned how to solve systems was through graphing, substitution, and elimination. The first type was graphing. So here you're going to get equations in slope-intercept form, and you have to graph them and look where they cross, just as if they were lightsabers in Star Wars. So the red one starts at -4. And then that's your y-intercept. It goes up 5/2 for the slope. So that's my line for the red equation in the system. And the blue one here is going to start at 4 and go down 3 right 2 for my negative slope. So my solution happens here, which is at the coordinate 2, 1. For number 2, similarly, if I look at the red equation, my y-intercept is at -3. My slope is -1/1. So correction here, that's a +1 slope. This is a -1 slope. Sorry about that. So that would be this red line. So I'm assuming I made an error with my blue equation, and I did. It starts at +2. And then I'm supposed to go down 6 and right 1 to have a negative slope as well. So they're both negative lines. My solution happens here, which is at the coordinate 1, -4. Errors are a good way to learn. Number 3, let's point out this x equals -4. That's a vertical line at x equals 4. And then we start here at 1 for the red line. And for that y-intercept at 1, you're going to go down 5 and right 4. Connect those 2 points. Crosses right there. That coordinate is, of course, 4, -4. Moving on to number 4. With this red line, our first equation, the y-intercept's at 4, and then the slope's down 3/1. So that gives me, if I continue that pattern, this line. Again, in the blue line, starts at -1, down 1/2, down 1/2, down 1/2. That line actually is this one right here. So the solution to this one is 2, -2. All right, if you turn over to number 5 on the back, you will see here for 5 and 6, they're both y equals equations. So when you have 2 y equals, just set them equal to each other. So you can see here, I set them equal to each other. Always get rid of the smaller term, which is -3x. And then I add 7 to both sides. I get x equals -6. Then I have to back sub it. And I sub that -6 for x right here into the first equation. I got 18 minus 13, which is 5. So my solution here is the coordinates -6, 5. Number 6, similarly, again, that's easy. When they're both y equals, you just set them equal to each other. When I solve for x, I get -3. I'm going to back sub that -3. I chose the second equation, so -3 times -3 is -9. And plus 14 is 5, so the solution here is -3, 5. Moving on, number 7. Here they're a little bit more difficult, so I'm going to take what my y equals equation gives me, and I'm going to substitute it here for y. Then now it becomes here. So now I distribute 2x minus 10. And after I distribute, I add 10 and divide by 6, and I get x equals 2. I'm going to back sub that 2 into my y equals equation. So right here, 2 minus 5 is -3. That is my solution. Number 8, same thing, different problem. We're going to start with my y equals, substitute it there, distribute both times. Combine like terms, 2x and 12x is 14x. Add 66 and divide by 14, you get +3. Excuse me. I chose my y equals equations to back sub, so I'm going to put in place of x, I'm going to put a 3. That's -6 plus 11, which is 5. Number 9, they're only going to see one of these on the test. It's a little bit more difficult because they don't have an x equals or y equals equation, but this x is by itself. So if I minus 3y from both sides, there's my x equals equation. I get -3y plus 14, or you could have wrote 14 minus 3y. It's the same thing. So then I substitute it here. So now I do my thing where I distribute, combine like terms, and I get 8y, and then I have to add 56 to both sides. I get y equals 6. I back sub it in to my x equals equation, because that already tells me what x is going to equal. That's what I'm looking for. So that's going to be negative 18 plus 14, which is negative 4. So that is my solution there. Moving on to the bottom. Again, if I'm going too fast at any point during this video, if you're watching at home or you're studying, you can definitely pause to look at it a little bit slower. So here, the first two questions you're going to eliminate by addition. So these two cancel out. 5x equals negative 5. So here you get negative 1 for x. And then you back sub it into the first equation, and you do your solving, you get y equals 7. So that's my solution there. And number 11, you start again, because you see the negative 5, the positive 5. If you add those two, they'll eliminate. That's why it's called elimination. And then you add those up. Negative 7 equals 0. So y has to equal 0. Back sub it into my first one, and I got negative 5x equals 10. Because this is just 0, so it's gone. I'm left with x equals negative 2 at the end, so my solution is here. Number 12 is the one that everyone dislikes because it has subtraction. The only way to get rid of negative 7y and negative 7y is to subtract them. But I'm going to change my subtraction to addition, and only on my second one, my second equation, will I change all the signs to the opposite. After I eliminate, I'm left with negative x equals negative 5. There's an assumed negative 1 there, so I divide by negative 1, I get 5. And then once I back sub it into my first equation, I get 45 minus 7y equals 17. Subtract on both sides, and divide by negative 7, and you get 4. So my solution is 5, 4. That was a quick video to help you understand the review for last night's homework. This makes me very happy if it helps you, and I hope this helps you prepare for the unit test.